the Good News Wednesday show. Good News Wednesday's finally here. Let's stand up and give a cheer. Watch the boredom disappear, 'cause Good News Wednesday's here.
Good evening, everyone. This is Karen Donovan, your host tonight, and we're going to be talking about something very special. What happens when your life gets out of balance? And then we're going to be talking about the 7 F words that can solve your problem. Stay tuned for our strategy session, How to Have a Happy Life. So what happens when your life gets out of balance? That's what we're going to be talking about. And I saw a parallel. I was looking around today on the internet and I thought, you know what? The parallel is to a wheel that gets out of balance. You know, the kind like when you're driving your car or riding your bicycle and your wheel is out of balance. What happens when your wheel is out of balance? Check this out and you see if you see any parallels here. I wrote these down. There's excessive wear. There are high spots and low spots on your tire, right? It's not a very smooth ride when your wheel's out of balance, is it? And also, all the parts wear out prematurely. Now, how do wheels get out of balance? Well, for one thing, the cold weather, something beyond your control, not enough maintenance, or how about hitting a pothole? That'll do it. Now, what's the cost of having your wheel out of balance? Well, increased fuel consumption, loss of traction, and loss of control. But listen to this. How much does it cost to balance a wheel? It's about $10 a wheel when you do it right away. So that parallels our lives, doesn't it? And sometimes we get out of balance. We lose control. We hit a pothole. There's something that we don't have any control over. But then we've got to figure out what to do to get our lives back in balance. So how do we do that? And that's where we came up with the 7 F's. Now, don't think about what you think I'm going to say, because I'm not going to say that. But a lot of times when your life gets out of balance, you want to use one of those 7 F's, don't you? One of those 7 F words. And it's not about getting F's in school either. It's not that kind of F. So what are we talking about? What are these 7 F's? Well, I did a little digging and I found actually a realtor who did this study and came up with this idea. Her name is Deborah Baccarella. She's down in Boca Raton, Florida. And she came up with this, almost about 10 years ago. Her life was out of balance. And then she started thinking, how can I get my life in balance? What are the things that I need to do? And so she started thinking and came up. Now you're going to say, yeah, leave it to a realtor. She came up with the 7 F's, right? But here they are. And they really make a lot of sense. The first one, in order to have a balanced life, you've got to touch on these 7 F's every day. Okay, so that's part of the deal. And the first one is focus. Okay, setting your goals and not losing sight of your goals. You know, people have ideas about what they want to do, and then they put them away. I mean, I don't know about you, but I write all these plans down and put it in my notebook and close the notebook. And next thing you know, I'm off to the races doing something else. So keep your focus. That's number one. And a lot of times, if you lose your focus, what's a good way to get back on track? I would say look for a successful person and copy them, because isn't copying somebody the highest form of flattery? Isn't that what they say? So just find someone who's doing what you want to do, find out what they do, and set some goals, some focus there. Now, the second F, I know you've been waiting for this, faith. Now, has anybody had trouble with their faith, especially in everything that's gone on in the last year and a half, right? During the pandemic, it's very, very hard to have faith in yourself, faith in God, faith in your fellow man. It's tough, but what do? You pray, you have positivity, you practice gratitude is a great one. Think, how can you be angry if you think of like maybe 2 or 3 things every day that you're grateful for? Like, being alive, having a loved one be alive right now, different things that, and have happened in your life. So practice that, practice your faith, be grateful. Third F, freedom. Freedom from clutter, freedom from debt, freedom from demands from people. People, they tell you things, they ask you things, they want you to do things, and you feel like you're a slave. And Deborah had a cool idea. She has a little proclamation that she wrote out, that she is free from license to say no. License to say no. How many of us need that? So that we have the freedom to do what we know we need to do. Because, it's like in the airplane when they tell you if the oxygen level ever goes down, you got to put your own oxygen mask on first, folks, and then take care of the people around you. Because if you don't have your oxygen mask on, guess what's going to happen? Everyone else is going to go by the wayside. All right, that's number 3. Number 4 is family. And family isn't only your relatives, it's your work family, your friends. I mean, a lot of times your friends are kind of closer than your family sometimes. But what about this? I saw a post the other day, who are my 5? Your 5 significant people in your life, your 5 most important people. Well, our gal Deborah bumps it up to 7. So you have 7 people. Think of 7 people that either you want to be close to, you are close to, you value their relationship, you see them, you talk to them frequently, maybe not even in person anymore, or maybe it's on Zoom, who knows. But you want to think of ways to strengthen that relationship. My husband and I are talking about that right now. We're talking about different ways to reconnect with people, especially since, we all thought that, the pandemic would be over and everybody would be back to normal. And now it seems like maybe not so fast here. So we got to figure out other ways of doing things and strengthening those relationships. So 7 relationships, family. All right, we're getting there now, folks. Finance is next. Now, the thing about finance is, I'm going to say this, it's not necessarily how much income you have coming in, but what is your outflow? All right. In other words, well, a penny saved is a penny earned, Benjamin Franklin said. I I have a brother-in-law. He's so cute. He goes around looking. He finds pennies, nickels, dimes, and then I said, well, what do you do with all these pieces of change? Because it's kind of hard to carry that around. Oh, he translates that into dollars. Next thing you know, he's got enough money to go to Panera's and buy himself a treat. But it's that finance thing. It's keeping tabs on where is your money going. Now, some people, Andrew Carnegie, he was the epitome of simplicity. He said he kept a notebook. He started out when he was young, and he kind of kept an eye on his money, didn't he? All he did was write down every time he spent some money or got some money, he wrote it in his book. Now, of course, people have QuickBooks to do that. But, then again, do you look at your QuickBooks every day or every week? I know sometimes that goes by the wayside too. So keep an eye on your finances. That's number 5. Number 6, my favorite, almost my favorite, fitness. Okay. And not only physical fitness, but we've got mental fitness and emotional fitness. And especially now in this day and age, holy mackerel, that's really important because, if you can't keep it together and you're stressed out and you're out of balance, you're not going to be any good to anybody. So get the help that you need. I mean, physical is pretty easy. You just go online and you find exercise programs. Noom is great for your, nutrition and keeping an eye on your weight. We talked about different things like that, but, emotional too. I mean, just taking the time for you and your mental health. And last but not least is fun. And planning that fun for you and your loved ones is great, but then enjoying that fun is also really important. And a couple of my coaches have always used the word be present. Be present. And that means, okay, turn off the phone. Don't look at your messages. Don't check your email when you're supposed to be having fun, right? I mean, yeah, it's fun to check your email and it's fun to check your messages, but guess what? When you have that activity over with, there'll be plenty of time to do that. So those are the 7 F's. And I thought it was a pretty good way to help us to plan our strategy for a happy life and keep in balance. And I hope that you found it helpful too. And now we move on to our next segment, which is part of the fun. It's celebrating. Okay, time to sit back with your coffee or your favorite beverage because it's time to celebrate birthdays. And every week we announce anyone's birthday who's made it known to us in some way or has been announced to us through a friend, one of those 7 tells me about their birthday. And we want to celebrate by mentioning them on our show and, maybe giving them a little encouragement or a little embarrassment or a little fun. We also send them a personalized birthday cake and we sing them one of our customized birthday songs. So here we go to celebrate this week. We have Bev Summer on September 9th, Jennifer Kinsey. Then on September 10th, Darlene Sheets and Robbie Phillips. On September 11th, Jody Craig and Victoria Chiesa and LaDonna Ritter. So happy birthday to them. On September 14th, we have Brian Marks and Barbara Phillips. Happy birthday special to those folks. And then also on the 14th, Daryl Davis. So we want to wish all of them a wonderful birthday week. And here you go.
We heard it was your birthday. Hope it's a good one too. Happy, happy birthday now and the whole year through. And if you're having trouble with all those candles on your cake, just call us up, we'll help you blow them out. So you can take a break.
And now we're going to go to the question of the week, and hopefully we can answer something that somebody's been staying up nights worrying about, or not. So I was asked, Karen, what do I do when, well, this is a kind of a touchy subject. What do I do when my significant other, spouse, relative who lives with me doesn't feel the same way about cleaning house that I do? What do I do? I find that I am out of balance. I'm always cleaning, and they seem like they're not doing anything. So what could I do about that? Because that's the burning question in my mind. So first suggestion that I have is, well, try to convince the other person that, you know, they need to pitch in and help. Or you could just decide to do less. Now, of those two choices, I will have to tell you that the second one is much easier than the first one, because you know what they say. I hate to use the word man, but it's how the statement goes. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Well, I guess I could say a person convinced against their will. But in any event, it's much easier to just maybe do a little less, maybe lower your standards, and then not do as much housework. Is it really, I mean, if you're the kind of person who, you know, has to have the dishes done, has to have the toys picked up, has to have everything, the house picked up, I will tell you, there will not be an 11 p.m. inspection, okay? So you don't have to worry about that, because it's only going to come back in the morning anyway, and it's not the end of the world. So yes, according to Fly Lady, we do want a shiny sink, and we do like those kind of things. And for our mental health and our balance, it is good to have these things. But on the other hand, at a certain point, it is better to lower your standards just a tad and not do so much and enjoy yourself, right? Because that fun is the most important thing of all. So now, what are some things that you could do in order to save time? One thing would be to track your time and see how much time you actually spend doing housekeeping chores. So that's my number two suggestion, is track your time on where it's going, and then think of a strategy or two to cut down on that time so you don't spend so much time cleaning. Now, last but not least, the third one is set up a schedule and work on researching out some hacks for getting the house cleaner quicker, okay? Because it is all about time. So what about setting up a schedule and then deciding, okay, when I go from room to room, I'm going to bring a big box and carry it around and put all the junk in that doesn't belong in that room, and then that'll save me time. Or what about carrying around a cleaning bucket that has, rags and cleaning supplies and all that good kind of stuff. And then this way you won't have to go back out and get it and come back and forth. So those are our 3 tips for getting your house cleaner quicker. Convince other people to do more or you do less. Track your time and make a game out of it. Make a game so you can see if you can beat the clock. And then third of all, set up a schedule to clean and figure out some hacks to use so that you can save time cleaning your house. And that is our strategy on house cleaning and your burning question on what to do about your time. So now we're going to move on to our favorite part of our evening. Yes, folks, that's right. It is our weekly trivia contest, and we're playing to pay it forward to charity. So this is a really cool way to help people and continue to help people during these trying times. One of the reasons that we started the show to begin with was to put a smile on people's face, some fun in their week, to give them some encouragement. And during the pandemic, and we started it over a year and a half ago. We're going to keep on going. And I thank you so much for your participation. On Mondays, we have our Monday morning wake up newsletter. So if you'd like to subscribe to that, our email is Karen@homesbydonovan.com. And we'll be glad to send you a free copy. And you'll get up with some great info on Monday morning. And then we have our trivia contest, which we're going to do now, and you can join in the fun. And I'm going to tell you how in a moment. But first, I'm going to announce last week's question and last week's winners, and then we'll go on to this week. All right. So last week's question was about balance. And the question was, these are all ways that you can test your balance, except A, stand on one leg for 2 minutes. B, stand with your feet touching side by side for 30 seconds. C, stand on one leg and close your eyes for 30 seconds. Or reach forward with your arms at least 10 inches without losing your balance. I tried all of them. And there was one that I could not do. Okay? And the one I could not do was A. If you can do A, please email me and let me know that you can do A, which is stand on one leg for 2 minutes. That's a good one. Now, it could be done, I'm sure. I think those guys in the beginning could probably do that quite easily. The balancing guys in the beginning on X Factor, they were really cool. They were on last night. So I thought I'd share that with you. So, A is the correct answer. Stand on one leg for 2 minutes. That's not really a way to test that you have decent balance. That would be to test if you have exceptional balance. So let's see who the winners of our contest were by going to our handy dandy mixing bucket. Drum roll, please. Okay, here are our winners from this week. who will then play our Pay It Forward contest for charity. Harvey Mosley, congratulations, Harvey. Angelina Toscano, congrats, Angelina. Velma Smythe and Tracy Delaney are our winners for this week. And what's going to happen is that at the end of the month, all of those names are going to get put in a grand prize drawing, and one of those people is going to pick their favorite charity, and we're going to give a donation to that charity. There's no strings attached. You don't have to give money. All you're doing is just playing for fun and to pay it forward for charity. So now we're going to move on to next week's question, which has to do, oh, this is a good one. One of my favorite topics, optimism. All right, next week is optimism. And of these TV characters, which one would you say was the most optimistic? Ah, that's a good one. A, Dr. House from House. B, Archie Bunker from All in the Family. C, Ugly Betty from Ugly Betty. Or D, Frank Costanza from Seinfeld. All right. So which of these people would you say was the most optimistic in their TV role? A, Dr. House. B, Archie Bunker. C, Ugly Betty. Or D, Frank Costanza. All right. Now, how do you play? I will tell you. First of all, if you want to, you can answer, and you're watching on Facebook, you can answer in the chat tonight, whether you watch it live or whether you watch a replay. Just type in the chat your answer, and also make sure you give me your name so I could get in touch with you in case you win. And then the other way you can do is to send me an email at Karen@homesbydonovan.com with your answer and your name and your email. Or if you want to wait for Monday morning and your Monday morning newsletter blog, there will be an entry form and you can fill it out and send it in that way. Anyway, we announce the contest every Wednesday, and then at the end of the month, we will have our drawing for charity. So we look forward to that. We look forward to seeing you next time at GNW. And we hope that in the meantime, you make it a great week. Bye-bye.
It's the Good News Wednesday show. Come on, kids, it's time to roll. Tell everybody that you know. Watch the Good